Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hindu Dharma Parent Teacher Workshop, and this is lesson 5. We have been talking about several other um, topics that we are going to discuss and how to do that with the small children or with the uh, older people. Now, this lesson is very important because symbolism and murtis in the temple or at home, the pictures, the sculpture, the statues, all of these, what do they represent in Hindu Dharma and what is their place? So most people say that we are idol worshippers. Idol is not the word for what we are worshipping and where we are standing. That is not an idol. And if you see the dictionary meaning, it is not an icon. It is not an idol. Murti is pratima, and pratima is something that represents something else, which is immeasurable. So it is not something that is two-dimensional, three-dimensional. It is something beyond that, what you see in that, what it symbolizes. So how does Murti Puja impact our daily practices and Hindu traditions and beliefs? And do we need a focus factor for all of these things? We are going to study that. Why do we need symbols? So we are going to discuss that. Now, it is a focus factor. One of the limbs of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, if you are going to start meditation, you have to know what you are meditating. You cannot be focused on nothing. You see, emptiness, even space, if you are having in your mind, then that is also a point of focus. A dot is a point of focus. And that is called dharana. Dharana means that something is in front of you, you are focusing, and when you close your eyes, you see the same thing in your mind. And that is then dhyan. So, unless we have some kind of a symbol, we cannot have meditation. So, dharana precedes meditation. Dharana comes before dhyana. And what are you making the focus on? What are you focusing on? Creative power, or you are focusing on the combination of energy and consciousness, or you are doing a different kind of concept. You are trying to understand different ideas, philosophy, all of those things with the help of symbols. It may be pictures. I usually give the examples that if you have a picture on your nightstand of your parents or whoever you revere, that picture means something to you. It is not just a two-dimensional picture. So when you have a picture on the side of your bed, picture of your parents or your children, what exactly are we seeing in that? We are connecting with them. Visually, we are connecting with them, and that is what is focusing. Sometimes I look at the picture of my parents, they are no more, and I am just getting inspired, remembering their words, meditating on what their message was when they were raising me. And that is the effect of a murti. And when we put it with all the reverence and with all the devotion in the temple or at home, we do not call it just murti, we do not call it idol, icon, picture, statue, anything. We call it vigraha, which means that we see in reality, we are seeing in the vigraha um, different uh, different kind of connections between us as jiva and the divine. So uh, we now use the word vigraha. We are not going to use the word anymore, murtis, icon, idols, and all that stuff. So in reality, the divine is the collective energy of the cosmos. And Murti Puja or the Vigraha in the temple is just a superimposition. So we are seeing beyond what is in front of us, what it represents, how we are connecting with it. So in the next 3 slides, you will find some of the artists have tried to explain different ideas and the divine. Very complicated ideas, but so simply explained in the picture or the carving. Some of these are mountain carvings. I think all of those 3 pictures are, let us see. So these vigrahas are visual expression of highly philosophical ideas. And teachers should try to simplify these and explain the message of the artist, what the artist is trying to say, just in simple art form. And that is what we are going to focus on. Now, this picture is the symbol of creation itself. Just focus on this thing and look at what it is. This is Brahma, or we can call Vishnu also. Now, Vishnu is the symbol of consciousness, and life is manifestation of both energy and consciousness. So we have Vishnu, and with 2 pratima of female. One is Earth, Bhumi, and the other is Lakshmi. This is the energy manifestation of energy on Earth, creating wealth, bounty, to nourish the living beings on the Earth. Now, without consciousness, energy is inert. You see, there is on Jupiter, and so far we have found out that there is mass, Bhumi is there, and there are some other elements as well. But Lakshmi is not there because it has no power or sustainability for humanity. There are no living beings there. So the consciousness is not there except in the basic vibration caused by gravity and other celestial being, stars and all that on the planet itself. So that is how we understand the principle of creation. It has a dual aspect, energy as well as consciousness. Now this consciousness is asleep, which means it is unmanifested in the living beings. So we see that Bhumi and Lakshmi, they are both waiting for the consciousness to become manifested. In this picture, it doesn't show, but actually there is another in Odisha. There is a sculpture similar where they show the navel of Vishnu moving up there, and there is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, a Trimurti. That navel going up is creating and creating life. Now, life is not a constant kind of thing. It goes through transformation, metamorphosis, and different kind of phases. So we have three aspects of mixture of blending of consciousness and energy. Now let us see, by itself, Vishnu or Brahma is both the source of energy and the consciousness. So it is the source of both. But in order to understand different kind of concepts, in the manifestation we show energy separately and conscious separately. Actually, everything emanates from Brahma. All elements, all that we see, the universes, Brahmand, galaxies, everything emerges for that, whether it has life or not. So that navel represents the origin of all that is there. So, I mean, I would say the artist who made this or created this must be having absolutely fantastic vision. Now let's see this one. This is Trimurti, and here see the expressions. The Vishnu or the sustainer is calm, quiet, stable expression, and Brahma is laughing and giving birth to creation. And since all that is born must go through different phases, eventually it comes to a decay, a pause, and then it will be reborn or reshaped, recycled into something else. So this is the symbol of various phases of life itself. Now let's go to the third one. This is also the principle of creation, but this is extremely complicated aspect, that the entire Prakriti is dancing. There's a vibration, there's a rhythm, there is a balance, and everything echoes something which is in response to something else. So there's a total unity of awareness, and this is called Nataraj, dance of Shiva. Shiva is also another name for both Shakti and consciousness. So now let us go over this, Shiva as Nataraj. Shiva as the king of dance shows the rhythm, the pattern or cycle of birth, transformation, and death, actually decay. And we see it all around in the Prakriti, not just in human beings, in all 84 million species. It also signifies that the world as we see today may not be there at the end of the Kalpa. Kalpa is around 5 billion years. Something will happen and the creation will come to an end on this planet. It may come somewhere else. So this is the symbolism, not only the evolutionary process of an individual, but it is also the process of the birth and annihilation of total life on any given planet. Right now we are talking about the Earth. So creation and annihilation are integral part of all life. You see, it is nothing is absolute, as I said in the previous lesson, and make sure people understand that nothing is absolute in the concepts of Dharma. everything is dynamic. It is in a constant world. It keeps on changing every single split second. So now the symbolism, the upper right hand has tabor, damru, which symbolizes the sound of creation. Actually, Om is also the symbol of creation. And it means when Shiva is dancing and playing that damru, all Prakriti, all living things become alive. The lower right hand is raised in half moon gesture. The upper left hand has flame of destruction in its palm, and the lower left hand is showering blessing. One leg is raised, indicating that one must rise above the material world, and the other leg presses hard on all that is negative and evil. Let's go back to the picture itself. So you see the damru here, and you see the blessings, and you see the Abhay Mudra, and you see the flames in one hand. And this leg is raised above the ground. It's a material world, and this is negativity. He is pressing hard on that. So when he is suppressing in that particular pose or dance, it is called Tandav Nritya, the dance of destruction. But the total picture, Nataraj, symbolizes creation, annihilation, the cycle of life on earth, and the cycle of life on the planets also. Now let's see. Air, water, fire, the sun, and the moon. All these devas are finite energies of the infinite Brahma. Each of the countless energies of Brahma is considered Deva or Devi. None of the Devas alone can sustain life. And kids can, your students should be able to understand that if there is, pretend that there is only air on the earth, would there be life? No. If there's only sun on a planet, all the planets in the solar system, every other solar system, all the planets, they have sun, but probably no other energy, no air or breathable air. And similarly, there's no water, or the moon's gravitational force is not as strong to control and bring the waters in a kind of movement. So they sustain life. Now these energies are energies. They were never born, they will never die. So therefore, they are not humans even. They are not in the category of humans. They are beyond our control. And what we are trying to do is either through visual imagery, as in Vedas and chants, that we imagine sun as coming on a white chariot, white light, 7 horses driving. Those are 7 different colors in the spectrum of white light. And that is in the chant, the visual image. Now we are on the symbolism, actual Vigraha. Now, was Vishnu ever born? No. Will he ever die? No. So Vishnu is Sagun Sakar Brahma. That means Vishnu has form and specific function. There are 3 functions, again, that leads to the evolution of all life, us as individuals, us as humanity, everything on earth. Artists then created 3 faces of Vishnu, each face with different expression and very appropriate to the role which is assigned. 3-faced Brahma is known as Trimurti. Now, before the artist created statue of Trimurti, the concept of Vishnu was already there. It is mentioned in the Vedic hymns. The artist captured it much later. And if anybody is thinking that destruction of these vigrahas will be the end of Hindu Dharma, they're wrong. Hindu Dharma is independent of vigrahas. If we are doing this, making these vigrahas and offering devotion or focusing on them, it is only because we otherwise cannot meditate or create a connection. It is just creating connectivity. Whether you do it in the mind, imagining, or you do it in front of the vigraha, it is the same thing. And destruction of these does nothing at all. The sun will still be shining, whether we may make a vigraha. Perfection, seeking perfection will still be there, so Ganesh will always be there. And the creative power will always be there, and no one can destroy it. You can destroy the vigraha, which is, I think, just a narrow-minded bigotry or lack of understanding, ignorance, illusion, all that combination, tamas. Now, let's see, next one. Certain words now, by this time you have seen where we are going, and the English translated, words translated in English do not correspond to the message contained in the chants or in the symbols. So we cannot call it icon, idol, pantheon of Hindu gods, as if we have the soul, Hindus have the sole right to sun, moon, air, water, everything. Don't other people use, other species use the same things to nourish themselves, to sustain life? If they do, then how can they be Hindu? And God is a meaningless word. We either use the word devas or we use a word, the divine, which we call Brahma. But let us see, in the temple, if you go, the priest will be chanting 1,000 names of Vishnu. That means Hindus themselves can call Vishnu or Brahma by 1,000 words, 1,000 names. And we surrender, whether we call him Vishnu or any other attribute. It is the same thing. The idea behind is that we are trying to create a connectivity. You can add a few more. I added in my book 2 more. If there are 1,000 names, 1,002 will not make any difference. I put down Lila Karanaya Namaha, which means the whole thing is verily a dance, and that play, he or she, the divine, it. It is the player, actor, as well as the audience, spectator. So you understand how we look at the divine. Whether it is 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional, it doesn't mean anything. It is just this connection of inner self with the outer reality or reality of the cosmos. Feeling of being nearer to the divine changes the vibration within. And if we close our eyes, we shut down all the surroundings, block them out. And then whatever we have seen, that image only remains in our eyes. And then we chant, and through the vibrations of the chanting, we change the state of our mind. So everything is kind of tied together. So symbolism is important part, whether it is just visual in the verses or it is otherwise in the vigraha. So I'm deliberately using the word vigraha. Please do not use the word God, gods and goddesses. If you have to use the word devas, devis, or use the word supreme being, divine, or if you want to use the word vigraha, fine, that is the proper word. Pratima is fine. And you can use these words. Storytelling through symbols. Some of these temples are such beautiful architecture marvel that they are actually carving a story. So, story of Mahabharata is all around the walls, outer walls of the temple. Then there is another panel above that. There is the storytelling, story of Ramayana. Then there are other where they are showing just the flowers, the nature. There is another panel where the elephants are there. Another panel there is horses are there. And this way, all aspects of material manifestation of life, and they are in symbols and actually in art form. And there are some very erotic parts which they say, which offends people, but actually that too is part of life. And seeking it as, just seeing it as something, unmentionable or invisible, as if it should disappear from the vision, is not, you are negating one aspect of life. So storytelling, conveying philosophical ideas, conveying psychological states of mind, you can do everything through symbols. I really think we do not have those kind of ancient temples in America, but some of the temples, I have given the pictures in the Hindu Dharma teaching guidebook. They are the actual pictures from southern India. And they say the darkness inside in the temple, the darkest part, there are pillars, there are halls, and then you see a very dark, which is called, that room is called Garbhagriha, Sancto Sanctum, and that is where the actual picture or symbol of the divine is. Which means if you have to reach, now this is also symbolism, if you want to reach the divine, you have to cross all those walls and barriers and negativity and greed and everything. And then you cross to the next stage in your mind. And eventually then you will be able to connect to the divine, creating harmony. You have seen I have given several examples, and there are more pictures in the book. Now, these ideas are pretty difficult for the students to understand. What I am trying to do today is making the teachers understand in depth what it is all about. How do you simplify these things, make lessons in a small little modules of lessons? That is up to you and your creativity. If you go through the different sections of the book, then how you explain these things, those are also given. So this is basic understanding of symbolism for the teachers to understand the legends, philosophy, psychology as symbolized in Dharma, and how you can explain it to small little people, children, students, in simple language, or adults who have totally no clue, and they say all kind of nonsensical, unbelievable kind of nonsense. And we want that children should understand, even if they are not practicing Hindus, but knowing about Hindu Dharma before opening your mouth is very essential. So there is no point to discussing with a foreigner or follower of another some religion. There's no point unless we understand ourselves what we are explaining. So these subjects are extraneous to religion. Now you can brainstorm the children. I mean, let them kick their imagination. Do Abrahamic religions use symbols? Do they? The kids will come out with different answers. Yes, they have a cross, or they have a certain color, or they have a moon-shaped something. They do have symbols. And somehow or other, I never saw so many people wearing the cross in the last 20 years than I have ever seen before. So it is just trying to assert one's identity. Hindus don't have to wear Om around their neck or have it tattooed. They just have to go along with the natural law. They are Hindus. They may not be born Hindus. There are millions of people who are not born Hindus, but they are practicing Hindus because they believe in the basic concepts and symbols and the relevance of all these things in life. Focus factor. Can we become independent from symbols and objects? Is self-realization possible by following just the priest or the book? Let them think about this. Every Sunday, if you are just listening to the priest, and the priest is trying to instill fear that if you are not here today and you are not listening to me, you are a broken person. Those kind of things. Let them come out with these comparisons or where Dharma stands and where religion stands. What does freedom of religion then mean? You don't have to wear the identity, assert the identity, and you can be practicing Hindus. Or you can wear it, who cares? I have never tried to find out on any Hindu's arm or neck or anywhere tattooed home. But I have seen these religious symbols in other religions tattooed all over the body, or they are wearing, the earrings are shaped that way or that. It does not matter what is their focus factor, what is our focus. It is just a focus factor. And it also is a way of looking at things. Some people think they have to assert their identity, some people don't. And then you have the freedom. Nothing is black and white, and you have gray areas. And all that gray area is freedom. So, having said that, are Hindu symbols a package of myths? So these are the questions students will answer. Using all the stories or the unscientific, mythology means fictional story, unscientific account, superstitious beliefs. Now, Hindu symbols, are they package of myths? Using the above definition, the student may point out which of the following is mythical. Devas in the atmosphere and the cloud system. Is it mythical? Devaloka symbolized by the cloud system. Is this mythical? These ideas are discussed earlier in this section and section 2. Students may review these lessons for answering the above question. Can we translate the word Devaloka as heaven, as understood by the followers of many traditions? No. But then you are going to let the students think about it. Is there something beyond Devalok of which we are barely trying to figure out how to understand? So Devaloka is not end of our world or our goal. There is something beyond that. The energy that you see in the sky at night, all of that is beyond the cloud system. And you can literally prove it if you are going in an airplane and plane goes above 35,000 feet and the cloud system is below you. It penetrates the cloud system and then you can see the clear blue sky and clear sun or the night sky, which means Devaloka is below. And beyond that, there are several universes, galaxies, of which we have no idea. And trying to figure them out, it is a scientific effort. Scientists are trying to do it. Let them do it. It is not a debate for a person to be a good human being that we have to know about other planets. What we have to do is know the facts about all of this. So, brainstorming is done, question answer is done, curiosity is aroused. You can bring take them to the temple, explain all the symbols. That is what I have been doing, taking the students of different universities who wanted to visit the temple and understand. That is the place where you can explain these things. You do the same thing. Most of the Hindu children centers, Bal Vikas, Bal Vihar, whatever they call, temple schools, they have one advantage that the classes are held in the temple and temple is right there. You can take them, explain to them the difference between visual imagery, the difference between vigraha, the difference between devas and how we connect, eyes open, closed. All of this we can clarify. Having said that, this lesson is over. It was a complicated lesson for many of these philosophical ideas behind these symbols. They kind of were never noticed, or nobody tried to either understand or explain. So now that it is clear in your mind, you can tailor that why do we worship or offer prayers to Vigraha. Focus, Dharma. And eventually, we surrender. We are not surrendering at that time in front of a statue. We are surrendering in front of what we see in the Vigraha. Thank you very much. Till next time, we'll take leave. I will take leave and we'll do the lesson number 6. It is part of the workshop.